Welcome to episode 1 of Mara. What are we going to call it? One Moment with Mara? I mean, really, the point of this is that people can connect to the journey of what it's like to build a brand that's born from the fire, born from one's devotion, one's sacred walk with life. And, well, we're going to work on the name of these episodes, but welcome to episode 1 of Mara in Motion. We're going to work on the title, but I wanted to start this journey of documenting what's already been a few years of developing a product, developing a brand, and giving birth to something that is truly of heart. And right now we're driving through Fruška Gora. We're on the way to visit one of the sacred sites that's known to produce healing miracles for people. And this mountain itself is filled with sacred sites, with churches, with lots of history. And just as I've been driving now, I thought, well, what better time to open up a new chapter of my life and my journey in life than to start documenting some of this on a YouTube channel. So, welcome to the YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Marko Petrovic, and I'm someone who, at the age of 29, sold everything that he owned and left a life that was a comfortable life. It was a beautiful life, but it was very comfortable, and decided to book a one-way ticket into the unknown. What that looked like for me was I packed my life down into nothing more than one suitcase and one guitar. I booked a one-way ticket to Mexico, and I went through a spiritual sabbatical, if you will. I did a 9-month period of silence, which was quite the journey. I wrote a book about it called Soul Path, and during that time and around that time, I also received inspiration for a brand, for a project called Mara. And I'll share a little bit with you in this video about what Mara is, the backstory, the origins, and the purpose of what we're creating. But before we get into that, I want to share with you a little bit about the purpose of this YouTube channel and what you can expect, what you can get familiar with. So this is a channel that is very much committed to people living to and claiming their one moment in life. And that one moment is that moment of inspiration. In a single moment, we can let our dreams slip by, or we can start to claim them. Many times I hear people speak about they're waiting for the right time, or they're waiting for that puzzle piece to fall into place. And I know this story very well. I've been through that story many times, and I can tell you that I've let too many years of my own life slip by, convincing myself of the right time that it's going to come, and not giving myself the opportunity to actually claim my moment. So, while I overtake this truck, I'm going to share with you the second piece about this channel, which is, aside from it being a undercurrent of a message, get the cows. So aside from this being a channel to speak to that undercurrent of claiming your one moment, it's also going to be like a mini documentary series where I'm going to very honestly and truthfully document the journey with Mara and share with you what I'm doing to build this business and grow this brand. So from content creation to cold outreach to my thoughts about branding, where one's investing their energy. And this is coming from a place of very humble beginnings. So I don't have investors in this project. In fact, if you know any of my backstory, you know that this whole project started from me busking on the streets of Mexico through one of the most dangerous parts of Mexico. And during my busking escapade, I learned about the plant that is in the extracts of dragon breath and some of our other products. And I started making them just for myself. It was just a curiosity. And that curiosity flourished into what's now a beautiful flame that has had products go to every continent except Africa, I believe. I'll have to do a fact check on that. And with that being said, but you know what? It's about to land in Africa very soon. There's a pilgrimage in Egypt coming up that's going to get to know the dragon breath. So that's exciting. The reason why I want to share my process with you is because I've come to terms with over the years that in the world that we live in today, where there's so many mentors, coaches, and consultants telling you how to build a business, how to do your thing, the bottom line is, the way I see it, is that business is an expression of the self. I've done this business to create a lifestyle that I love. And the lifestyle that I love is travel, is researching and learning about ancient cultures and powerful plants, is visiting sacred sites around the world and sharing that with people in a beautiful way by connecting them to the poetry of life. So through everything I create, it has that poetic riff to it that speaks to the soul, and that speaks to the way that one can become enamored with life, in love with life. One of the teachings that I love to live by is that which I learned during my travels in Mexico, which is called the La Palabra Florida, as they say in Spanish, which means the flowering word. The reason I speak about that and why it's so important to me is because everyone's telling you how to run your business, how to build your business, and that they have the system or the method and the model to do it for you. Here's what you forfeit, or what I've learned that I forfeit in trying to live by somebody else's design. I inhibit my own unique expression. Now, does that mean that I don't look to mentors and advisors and people that I can leverage wisdom off? Absolutely not. What it does mean is that I don't pedestal what they have to offer in the place of what I instinctively feel. Because to me, the part of business that's really alive, where I can continue to hum at a very high production rate and not get caught up in themes of burnout or these stresses that typical entrepreneurs experience, is the fact that I live by instinct. And when we live by instinct, we're living by inspiration. And when you're taking inspired action every single day, you're not going to burn out, because the energy of life, it recycles. The only time it doesn't recycle is when I'm not honoring the pulse that I feel in my being. And why wouldn't I honor the pulse? Well, maybe if I carry fears, doubts, or insecurities, or maybe if I've spent too much time listening to other people who I've made more important in my mind. Maybe they've been more financially successful, maybe I look up to them for some kind of reason, maybe I've just given them my authority. Well, if I'm giving authority to other people in my life, then I can't be my own authority, and then I'm going to struggle to take action on what's truly inspiring to me. So this is also a documentary piece on me blazing my own trail through the world of business and doing things that are uniquely me, to share with you how it goes. Like, it's one big experiment, no? But I trust that through witnessing the experiment, you'll have inspiration to leverage your own ideas, to apply your own insights, or maybe you'll just get some entertainment. However it works out, I want to welcome you to the channel. This is Mara in motion, and I look forward to sharing the journey with you. What we have lined up for episode 1 in the world of Mara. What we have is, we have just experienced our biggest week in business. So it has been a couple of years since we've been in business, and this week has not only been the biggest week, it's also been the biggest. This week has been bigger than any previous month in business. So we've had a decent spike in growth. And well, what was the catalyst of that spike? And I can put it down to one thing: me committing to level up the content for Mara to a really high standard. So what that looked like for me was putting in a lot more effort around actually script writing. So I used to shoot from the hip with my content. I might do that still in the future when the moment feels inspiring, but for most of the content, there's no more shooting from the hip, and there's actually very intentional thought and throughput in the whole sequence of what I'm expressing. What that means is I've had to front load a lot of hours and effort, but the feedback from life and from the profit line has been that it was well worth it, because we've had our biggest week ever. It's pretty exciting. This part of Serbia that we're driving through is so picturesque. I love it. mountains to one side, beautiful homes all around, and people living a relatively slow pace, slow rhythm to life. We're actually on the way to a sacred site, which is known to be a site of miracles. It's also known to be a portal that connects with other songlines. And the fascinating thing about Fruška Gora is, if you take a look out to the right over there, where the Danube is, that we're driving past right now, this part of the land here in Serbia is very flat. Like, it's just flat, flat, flat. A lot of large-scale agriculture operations going on, and then out of nowhere you have this mountains called Fruška Gora. Gora is a word that speaks to things being high, tall. Gore is how you say up in Serbian. Gora, mountains. And Fruška speaks of fresh, so fresh mountains in loose translation. This is also the place where, interestingly, for those of you aficionados who like to explore ancient cultures, this is the starting point of the oldest civilization known to us in Europe, called Vinča cultura, the Vinča culture. So I enjoy spending time here because the land always speaks to me in fascinating ways, and I get to dial into some really nice vibes. Now, as I was saying, we are in the final day or two of our biggest week in business, and what I put the growth down to is the quality of content that I've put out. Here's a controversial thought. Wellness shouldn't make you feel safe. It should make you... Now, what that looked like was me leveling up a number of things. Number one was script writing. Number two was putting in the effort where it counts. So looking at Pareto's principle, 80-20. 20% of the effort that I put in is responsible for 80% of the results, and 80% of the effort I put in is responsible for 20% of the results. Catch that. Oh, look at that beauty. I love this place so much. And so, looking at the 20-80 rule, Pareto's principle, what is clear to me is that in the world of script writing, the 20% is the hook. Many marketers, script writers speak about it. I've listened to it many times, yet this is the first time that I really put in solid effort into nailing my hooks. And I wouldn't say that I've nailed them, but I'd say that I've put in enough energy and effort to see a noticeable shift. And that's seen in the view counts of the videos that I've been putting out, and it's always contributed to the purchases that people have made. Aside from that, I've actually scripted out all my reels. So this what I'm doing right here is unscripted. Moving forward, I will frame it out so that I can have the clarity around the concepts and the themes I want to hit for you. For this first one, I am shooting from the hip, so I hope you're enjoying it so far. Now, aside from the script writing, I leveled up my editing. What that looked like was using a few things that I learned from a special effects course to make the videos look a little bit more entertaining. And I also played a lot with the differentiation of the shots that one can enable. So rather than it just being one or two or three angles, I really got creative with how I can tell a story through different angles, different shots. And I'd say that has helped with the retention rate of my videos, which is significantly higher from any previous videos as well. And the last piece I put it down to is that, interestingly, I didn't think that these videos would create sales, but they have. The videos that I put out for the most part weren't necessarily speaking about any of the products that I sell. They were larger branding pieces. So the question I asked myself this week is, if Nike has Just Do It, Mara has what? And if you take a look at the reels, you might get to tune into that from everything I'm putting out there. So I've started to play the bigger branding game, which is a longer term game, but I feel has much higher value because I'm not directly looking to push you anything to purchase. Rather, the intention is to sell you on the vision of what I believe in and the vision of what I've been living for many years that gave birth to this business. And what I see from an energetic perspective is that what's actually happening is that I'm coming into greater integrity with the energy of this beast, of this being that is Mara, because it's not just a business, it's an entity. It has its own spirit, it lives, it breathes. The inspiration for it was born in my heart. So it was an energy before it was a feeling. When it was a feeling, it turned to a thought, and when it was the thought, it turned into a project eventually. And so building a relationship with it in that way, to understand that I'm like the captain of the ship, if you will, steering and watching my compass and understanding the compass, because there's this illusion in business that it's always a straight line, and it's really not. The journey of entrepreneurship is failing 1,000 times and succeeding once. One of my good friends, Roscoe, recently said, rather than looking for the big thunderclap, look to light many matches. And that's the effort that I put in this week. It was not really thinking about getting the home run, but it was about lighting a lot of little matches that can start to leave little ripple effects in the minds and the hearts of the people that tune into what we're about. And I've actually enjoyed it more, funnily enough, because the focus shifted from sales to service. And I speak about that shift in a very subtle way. So I know that if I sell my product, I'm still going to serve people, but the undercurrent of where I'm transmitting the message from is from a deeper place of service. And it's given me a sense of freedom and liberation in the way I move and shake with the business. And it's also opened up channels of communication clearly to clients and customers who I don't know where they've come from. For the most part, Mara is still at the stage where it's mostly community that I have that are purchasing, and occasionally I might get the few random purchases here and there. Whereas this week has all been random purchases, except for one that we had today, and they've all come from networks that I'm completely unaware of, which is exciting to me. It means that I'm doing something right, and so I look forward to continue playing with that journey. The other pieces that are important to me is to bring greater structure into the business now. So at the moment, it's mostly a solo operation, and I have a bit of support in the background from a camera person, but I see the need to start structuring this beast even more so that it can have a solid foundation to keep extending its reach, because there's so many opportunities in the world of business that go untapped. And I'd say it's largely from people getting busy in their minds, the entrepreneurs, the CEOs getting busy in their minds and not staying present to where the pulse of the business is. And the pulse that I speak to is the capacity to reach out and to keep reaching for new heights and to not get caught up in any one singular role. So the trap that I see in the success that I've had is that now I could just become a content creator and just keep hammering reels, but I don't feel that that's where the deeper pulse is. It's the pulse for right now, but there's other pulses that I'm already getting, like the subtle premonitions of, that need to be followed. And some of those are collaborations, some of those are deals with other brands, some of those are actually this one I'm doing right here, doing the mini doco and doing it in a way that is very on brand. We're going to a sacred site and we're sharing the inspirations of the business, listening to beautiful songs, which I turned down so that you could hear me clearer. But this is the energy that I want to transmit, the energy that I want to share with you all, and I hope you're enjoying it. Stay tuned for more. Game on. Welcome. I just got the OG upgrade on my microphone. This is called a micro stick, a talking stick. Goes by many names. And so this sacred place that they've set up here is called Sveti Jovana Krstitelja. Izvori Svetog Jovana Krstitelja. And like I was mentioning, they've set up many beautiful sites around here. Each one's a little pocket of its own, has a distinct energy that you can get to know, that you can bathe in, that you can connect to, that you can pray in. And we didn't get to explore all of them, but it looks like there's quite a few around here, so we might have to be back for like a round 2, an episode 2. For now, we're saying game on until next time. Make sure you keep following the pulse of life, and we'll see you soon at another sacred site on the road, talking all things Mara.
Nisam prepoznao. Ali ne to je bilo poznato, ali nije.
Da.
Nisam prepoznao stvari.
Da, to je to.
Ono, lepo. Jedino što mogu da te predložim da dođeš na te izvore Sofine, da tu probaš još da se energetski popraviš zdravlje. I 2 puta sam ga sreo i deda je tad rekao, kaže, ja sam kada unuka me jedva dole pustila. Kad sam tu kada stajao, ja sam se popio gore lagano, kada sad sam već drugi dan, sutra spet.
So along the way of these multi-dimensional travels, from camera and filming to video and visiting sacred sites, I wanted to share some of the places that we go, because these sacred sites, I speak about them a lot, and they've had a profound impact for me in my life. And well, it's been so profound that many times people ask me, like, can't I just feel the grace of God, the beauty of the divine by meditating? And yeah, you can, but you're not going to feel this. This is a living temple that has generations upon generations of trees, the tree nation, the bird nation, all the water that it's listened to, all of the changes of this planet that it's witnessed. And you're going to tell me that you're going to experience the same thing in your home? Nah, it's a joke. You can experience beautiful states meditating at home, but barefoot on the earth in a sacred place, you can't even compare the two. They're not comparative at all. So come with me as we go for a walk, because the thing that's exciting for me about life is direct experiences. So oftentimes people like to sit there and speak about, like I was just speaking to a gentleman who was asking me, like, what's the purpose of you offering a song to a sacred place? And I found that interesting. How can you ask what the purpose of that is? Like, it's gratitude. All of this is one beautiful song that we're living. And how can we not show up to a sacred place to just receive and not offer something? It doesn't make sense to me. So it's exciting to share some of these sacred places with you, and hopefully you get to taste a little bit more of what a sacred site is, especially when you come along with intention. Like, we didn't come along as tourists, we came along to share a beautiful message with you and to connect ourselves to life a little bit deeper. So trust that you can come along and join us on the journey at some point, and if not, maybe you just join us like this virtually. And I'll do my best to keep improving these videos, so it would help me out if you drop a comment, not because I want to get more comments, but let me know what you want to see, let me know what you want to experience, and if I can meet the requests, I will. This is my little dose on sacred sites, and now we're going to go check out a special place over here, and we'll show you what it looks like. Ooh, I just found a sign up here on the tree. It says Izvor Stvaraoca. That's the spring of the creator. We gotta go check that out. Let's do it. This microphone is one of a kind. This microphone is world class. This microphone is never going to be available for sale because it's priceless, and no amount of wealth can replace this microphone. And the only way to get a microphone like this is to make your own sacred walk, your own pilgrimage. your own visit to sacred sites, and make sure that before you take, you give. Before you receive, you offer. That's how we stay in balance with life. Whoa! So we've made it here to Izvor Stvaraca, the spring of the Creator. And it's beautiful. They've got a little icon here from Ostrog, which is a beautiful sacred place in Montenegro. And another cross with some offerings. We've got it at the perfect time, just as the sun's setting on the horizon. We've got the light cascading through the forest. And something that I love, that I want to speak to in this moment, is this time right now where light crosses to night, and also when night crosses to light. Those two transitions that we get to experience every day. There's a magic to them, there's a beauty to them. And some time ago, I decided that the success of my life wouldn't be by the amount of money I make or the standard measures of success that we look at. The success of my life would be determined by the number of beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises I got to see. I share that with you because we take the definitions of life that are fed to us by society, and that's all well and good. They're nice ranking systems to have, you know, wealth and this and that. But what's the wealth of your soul? What are the treasures in your heart? And how do you relate to them? For me, it's right here. This beautiful little talking stick, and getting to share some of these sweet messages with you while listening to the poetry of the birds all around us. So enjoy. Make sure you take a look at that. Capture it. Because we're here at a unique time. Observation when we're working with sacred sites, with nature, with life, is really important. That we got to pay attention to life. And the piece that I love right here at the spring of the Creator is this tree right here, where if you take a look at it, you zoom out a little, you pay attention to it, it looks like the two ears of the Creator coming down together to meet at the heart. And it looks like there's a female and a male expression on either side, speaking to the duality of life, but they come together into a union. And there's little shoots right here, speaks to family, to children. And it makes sense why they called it the spring of the Creator, because in this tree itself, if you pay close enough attention, it's all right there. It's all expressed. So we've made it to the sacred place. It's called Sofini Izvori, and it's a beautiful place. It's been cared for very lovingly, as you can tell by the way the people have made little portals, pockets to connect with the energies. In the lands around here in Serbia, orthodoxy is something that's practiced by the majority of people as a religion. So you can see different saints in different places. Right here, I'm seated under a tree. It's called Izvor Svetog Nikole, so Saint Nicola, or Saint Nick in English. And Izvor is like the spring of that energy. And you can see in a very humble, very simple way, people have given crosses, and they offer the images of icons, money, sacred bracelets, whatever they feel in their heart, I guess. And you feel the change, you feel the shift. You can probably even notice it in me, the way that I speak after spending a bit of time in here. These sacred places start to wash over you and through you in ways that you can experience life at an intimacy that is so unique. What I feel moved to speak to while we're here is a couple of themes. One, as far as sacred sites go, when you travel around the world, different people will have their presentations of how they connect to the sacred. For some it's through religions and church, for some it's through deities and energy. The thing that I've connected to over time is that all these places are sacred, and it's just the maps that people use to understand them are different depending on the influences that have partaken in their lives. And I thoroughly enjoy those of mythological origin. And when it comes to connecting to the intimacy of life, in my book Embrace of the Elements, I spoke a lot about the 5 elements: earth, air, water, fire, and space, ether, or love, depending on how you relate to that 5th element. And the one I feel to speak to right now in this moment is the element of air. A practice that I've come back to over time has been that of breathwork. And early on in my journey, I utilized breathwork through the influence of Wim Hof. So you're probably familiar with the Wim Hof method, and I used to do sessions that would go for 30, 40 minutes at least. And I did that for a while, and it helped me out tremendously. It helped me to understand my connection to the breath a lot more. And as a result, how energy circulates through my body. You wake up the electricity of life and the magnetic forces that exist within us in a way that you can experience them so viscerally. They're so alive that it offers you more than my words ever could. It just gives you a direct connection to life so that you can know yourself. And when you know yourself, just like the philosophers spoke about, know thyself, then you can know life. But if you don't know yourself, well, you're not going to know life through anything other than belief. And that's living life through the prison of the mind, which is not a way to live at all. It's an illusion for the most part. Now, what I encountered with breathwork was over some time of exercising the Wim Hof breathwork, I started to notice that it was demanding because it's a large period of time to offer up each and every day. So I didn't do breathwork for a long time, not in that way. I used it in the form of a conscious breath. So I take a moment in my day, I claim my one moment, and I offer a breath. And I just come here to being present. Now, what I feel moved to share with you in this moment is thanks to a good friend, Vijadeus. He shared with me a breathwork mode that I started practicing, and then I added a bit of my own flair to it. So I'm going to record like a little tutorial right here, right now, that we're going to share as a separate video as well. So for anyone that wants to find a simple, succinct way, what I like about this form of breathwork is it's much shorter. It doesn't go on for more than a few minutes, and it gives me a very direct connection to life. So I'm going to share that with you in a moment. I'm going to talk you through it, and then we're going to do it live together. You can join me if you like. You can save the short form clip and practice it in your own time. But I found this to be really valuable. I do it morning, sometimes morning and night, but I'll at least do it once a day. And it does give me that clarity and that sensibility to life that I really appreciate having. It wakes up the wild inside me. So that wilderness, how does that manifest in my life? Well, when I want to create something, when I want to do something, where I used to have fears and doubts encroach, the wilderness allows me to pierce through it. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to claim your one moment, to connect to the wilderness, follow the pulse of life. So when you feel that, this feels like a big ask, claim it. Only if you know that you are an expression of all of this, will you have the freedom to sing the way that the bird sings. The bird doesn't ask permission to sing. It opens up and it shares its song. Whether there's someone sitting below and appreciating it, whether there's someone judging it and saying, this bird noise is distracting me, because some people experience that with certain bird calls, or whether there's no one at all, the bird sings its song. And I want you to have that same freedom and inspiration to, regardless of who and what around you wants to bend you to their will or their opinion, that you carry on forward, being the storm walker. Now, the practice itself goes like this: 22 breaths. 22 is the number of the master architect. So if you want to start architecting your life with fine precision, then 22 is a beautiful number to connect to. So you're going to go 22 breaths in what's called a continuous breath, which I'll show you in a moment. At the end of those 22 breaths, you'll exhale everything, and then you'll do one big inhale through the nose, and you'll hold. Now, important piece, the continuous breath is done through the mouth. As you're doing it, the idea is to allow breath to move freely without tension in the tongue, in the cheek, in any parts of the mouth, the throat, the shoulders. So with each breath, you should be settling more and more into your body and finding your center where it feels like life is holding you. You're not holding yourself. The weight and heaviness and tension from your shoulders goes. Your spine will feel more erect. You'll naturally feel like you're suspended in time and space. You'll feel like you're being levitated. 22 breaths. At the end of the 22, full exhale, full inhale, and you're going to hold it. Now be mindful as you inhale, not to do that, but to stay soft and gentle and centered. That inhale, what helps sometimes is you can drop your chin a little bit and it cuts off the capacity for air to exhaust. So it's just easier to contain that in there. And what I find, this is an important distinction, is that the more I get occupied in thought, the more the air wants to rise and the shorter the amount of time that I can hold the breath for. And the more settled and still I am, the more I feel my diaphragm open, the more I feel air in my chamber down here, and the more free I am of mind, or completely liberated of it, and just in the presence and witness of everything that's circulating. So I share that with you as a distinction, not as a competition. Whether you hold it more or less, it doesn't matter, and it will be different every time. It depends on so many factors which accumulate to the stress that you're holding each and every day. The purpose of this is to wash over you, to cleanse you, get you centered, still, and present, and it works regardless of whether you're really stressed, or whether and you're doing this for the first time ever, or whether you're a seasoned expert and you've done other kinds of breath work. Forget everything you know. Try this as a unique practice of its own, as a way that you can embed it into your life. Because for me, this is one of those 1 millimeter moves that takes a few minutes of your day, but it moves a high lever, which is your capacity to be present with life. The more present you are, the more clear you're going to be, the sharper you're going to be in thought, the freer you're going to be of emotions and heaviness and stagnation. Game on. Let's do it. All right, welcome back. So what you'll notice during the hold, and an important piece of safety, is I'm propped up on some logs up against this tree. If you're new to this, then it's probably not the wisest. I'd recommend doing it on the earth. Sometimes you can experience, as all that stress and mental fog leaves, like a rebalancing, and it can shake you around, and almost like the lightning of life starts to move through you. And if you don't know that channel well, it can feel a little discombobulating as it starts to wake up inside of you, because you're waking up your life force energy, and we have so much energy inside of us that we don't even have an awareness of. And so I want you to experience this, but I want you to experience it in a way that's safe and that you're taken care of. So no chairs, nothing like that, on the earth, and soft cushions around you, blankets, because what can happen, it's happened to me, is I lose my center, and when I open my eyes, I'm sideways, or I'm holding myself, and as that energy moves through you, you can enter a liminal space of nothingness, of where you don't feel the difference between the bottle, and everything becomes one. So it's important as you build your connection to this, and when I say build your connection to it, I'm not talking you've done it 5 times, I'm talking you've done it for a year solid, and you experience this time and time again, because it is different every time. But you'll notice your heart rate might increase and then find a settled state. And you might even notice that it can start opening up emotions and memories and stuff like that as it starts to filter through the psyche. It's all part of the cleansing. We need to stay clean. In a world that we're so full of influence, we're not given tools for transformation to keep us fresh. We shower daily for a reason, but how do we spiritually shower? Well, we're under influence every day. We need a way to shower our spirits daily, to shower our soul, our energy. And this is one of the ways that I employ every single day to make sure that I'm really well taken care of. And what you'll notice coming out of it is that your body will start to adjust. You'll be like, oh, I see that I've got some new space in my body. Oh, this feels good. This feels nice. I feel more settled. So enjoy. You got some theory, you got some practice. Now it's your turn to put it to work and enjoy. Me falta, ¿cómo se dice dragon breath en español? Aliento. Me falta aliento de dragón. Good stuff. So as we finish up here, trust you've enjoyed this episode of Mara in Movement, Mara in Motion. I'll see you at the next one. Over and out. Estamos echadas. Stane glavash. Check this out. So this is called, the writing is on the wall. Come closer so you can see this. Just happens to have my initials in the brickwork right here. And look what's on the other side. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Home sweet home. You can't make these things up, can you? This is a beautiful place. I reckon we eat here. Let's go upstairs. Let's check it out. The beauty of Serbian cuisine and the setup, the way they set these places up is incredible. Jel može? Super. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the table at Salaš Stanoje Glavaš. Now, let's get to business. So, we're about to try some traditional Serbian food. We're here at Salaš in Fruška Gora, and Salaš is like a horse stable, so you can see that they've got homes for the horses. There's some horses down there. They've also got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 beehives, and a really beautiful setup here. Very typical of the mountains here, and we're about to dive into their cuisine and enjoy some of their food. So here we go. What more can I say other than prijatno? Kako nam ime?
Ovo mi je ime Minja.
Minja. Drago mi. So we're here at the Salaš. We just finished up with the fire, of course, by our sides with Minja, the caretaker. And what a beautiful message. It says record right here on the week when we've had the biggest record week in the business. So the signs are all there, the writing is on the wall, and we look forward to taking this flame and making it a big, beautiful phoenix that gets to travel around the world. We'll see you on the other side.
Gdje će to biti?
To će biti na YouTube.
Mene su snimali Happy televizija. Ima to godina dosta. Ima tu neki Sofijini izvori se zovu.
Bili smo. Danas. Da.
Čuli su da je meni pomoglo, meni je bila utečena kolena i dole zglobovi. I otišu tako slučajno, nisam, I čuli su oni da je to meni pomoglo i evo i tu. I pitaju me kako snimaju, metli mi tu bubicu, da možemo da ponovim što sve sad, sve iz početka. Tovarili kamion, tamo ja tovarim kamion i otišu slučajno tamo tu i ovi viču mene da idemo kući. I ovi dečaci sa mnom kažu ajde matori, tebi samo Ilovača može pomoći. Kao, gotov sam. Dobro ja, ajde. Ujutro ja ustao, kao nov.
Kao nov.
Sad 73 godine imam.
Nema bolova?
Ništa.
Wow. Čudo.
Da li je to? A to je, ništa drugo. Ja sam mazao sa svim gelovima i konjskom masti i šta sve nisam radio. Ništa.
I malo vremena u prirodi, čovjek kao nov.
8 godina, evo ovdje ja sam.
Da.
Kosim, imam 2 kobile tu i tako da.
Fantastično. Pa znaš kako, ja bih rekao da jeste to zato što ja se inače bavim s tim što idem po raznim svetim mestima po celom svetu. I mislim, Sofijin izvor je sveto mesto. I ta energija nas regeneriše.
Pazi, ja nisam ništa osjetio. Ja ujutru kad sam ustao, ja skočio iz kreveta, jednostavno, a nisam mogu da spavam mesecima i meseci.
Wow.
Ako god se okrenem, bole. Ja ustao ujutru. I posle igrao i futbol još, sam ja bio mlađi u to vreme.
Da. Razumijem. Wow, fantastično. Koji blagoslov, da? Koji blagoslov da vas je zemlja tako obnovila?
Da sam, ja verujem, ja verujem.
Da li verovao ili ne, ti si ko nov.
Ali verovatno mi je to verovanje pomoglo.
Naravno.
Ne znam, sigurno, ne znam. Neki kaže, ta nije kao neki kao. Ja kao, meni je pomogao, a vi mislite pa god hoćete.
Pa znaš kako, baš u tome je stvar. Ljudi mogu da misle šta god hoće, ali istina je pred nama. Da li mi hoćemo da je prihvatimo ili ne, to je druga stvar.
Nema laženja, to je tako bilo i gotovo.
Da, razumijem potpuno.
Ja nisam mogao, ja sam kao deda išao, pa imao 50 neku godinu.
A sad koliko?
Trećinu, čoveče.
Nema ništa.
Ja nisam mogu da čučem. Sam mogu kakvi. 50 godina i neko imao. A sad 63 godine.
73?
63 sad.
63? Za 63 izgledaš fenomenalno, izgledaš kao imaš 43.
Igrao sam ja dugo fudbal i šta ja znam. Bavim se sportom dugo. Evo kad mi je sin nastradao, onak sam prekinuo. Sin mi se utopio u Dunavu i 2000. godine. Onak sam ja to batalije. Nisam imao treba da se radujem više i znam tako. Posle toga me žena ostavi 2003. Još hvala Bogu imam sina 30 godina.
Ništa, Bine, pozdravljam te još jednom, drago mi je. Nek je srećno. Želim laku noć i vidimo se. Tamo, vaš. Prijatno. Well, if all of what we experienced wasn't enough, what can I tell you? We just met Minja. He's the groundskeeper here, and he just shared with us the blessing of the past in his life, where in his early 50s, he couldn't walk, he couldn't squat, he was walking like an old man with crutches, and then he went to Sofijini Izvori, the sacred place where we just went, and the next day he woke up brand new, and now he can squat, he can move, he's 63, and he looks like he's 43. Whether you believe it or not, sacred places are a real thing, and the truth is in front of you. You don't have to believe in it for it to be real. So I'll leave you with that message for tonight. See you at the next one.